One thing I get asked fairly frequently in my clinic from new patients who I'm teaching the Schroth Method to, or scoliosis patients that we're working on back pain, is should I do the exercises the same on both sides, or should I do, like, say, side planks on one side and not the other? This is a very common question, and I want to answer it specifically because I get asked it all the time. Should we be doing asymmetrical exercises for an asymmetrical problem? It's a great question, and let's kind of dive into it a little bit. Hopefully this video is helpful if you have scoliosis or you know someone that does and you're wanting to help them out or help your back pain or reduce progression of your scoliosis curve. This is a great video for you to watch, and feel free to share it and make comments below. I would love to see the comments that you have. So specifically, I get asked this question when I start doing side planks with patients. I actually really like to do side planks with my scoliosis patients. I find it helps to work the side muscles of the core that don't get worked other ways. And so side planks are a great exercise for strengthening the core if they're done correctly. We have to do them with good form. But a lot of times people will say, should I be doing these on both sides? So if we look at the anatomy of a scoliosis curve, so we have the spine coming down, and then we'll have a curve that, let's say, goes to the right, and there's the pelvis. So on this scoliosis curve, we have the paraspinal muscles on one side, and we have the paraspinals on the other side. And so the thought is that these paraspinal muscles on the inside of the curve, or the concave side of the curve, that these are too tight, and so we need to stretch those out. And then the muscles on the outside of the curve, on the convex side of the curve, that we need to strengthen those. So if these muscles shorten, then that's going to push the spine to the left side. And so the idea is that we imbalance the muscles enough that we get translation of the spine to the left. Mechanically, if we're just looking at one dimension of the spine, it kind of makes sense. If we strengthen the right side, then that pushes the spine to the left. The problem is, and you can see one of my other videos about this, research has shown that both sides of the spine, both sets of paraspinal muscles, are weak for different reasons. So we don't want to perpetuate an imbalance in the spine. We don't want to strengthen one side and not the other, because both sides are weak and we need both sides to support the spine. So even this concave side, if we get that to strengthen up, not that we want it to shorten and create more concavity in the spine, but if we can get both sides to strengthen up, then we can have more support in the spine. Because if we have a shift in the spine like this, we need support as we do postural corrections. And so strengthening just one side and not the other might have a little bit of an effect of imbalancing it in a positive direction scoliosis wise, but then we're left with more of an imbalance in the strength. A lot of this actually comes from a study that was published a while ago that looked at side planks, doing side planks one time a day for as long as you can, that reduced the size of the scoliosis curve. The problem was that research study was not great. It had a lot of flaws, it had a lot of issues, and so, but it's still out there, and I get asked this all the time, that should we strengthen one side and not the other? The answer is no, don't strengthen one side and not the other. We need both sides to be stable, but we want to strengthen those muscles in as much correction as we can get. So like with the Schroth Method, trying to elongate the spine and expand and breathe into the concavity as we're actively strengthening those muscles. That way we get more stability through the spine, and we get better balance and better correction out of the spine while we strengthen. So it's important to strengthen all around the spine. The spine is meant to be very stable with the musculature. Without the musculature, the spine will collapse under weight. So we need that stability. One thing that also is a problem is most of the time when I see someone with pain with scoliosis, their pain is on this convex side of the curve. And the reason for that is that muscle, as the spine is being pushed into that convex side of the curve, that muscle is having to control that. It's always on guard, it's always turned on, and it's always active. So it tends to spasm and tighten down to try and hold its position. So if we're just strengthening that muscle more, asking it to do more, asking it to do more to push the spine to the left, we're going to have more pain. We're going to have more muscle tension and tightness because we're going to fatigue it out. Eventually it'll probably strengthen, but it will always be more tight, always be more tense, because we haven't offloaded it by activating the muscles on the other side. So the take home for this video is we want to strengthen both sides. We want to get more stability on both sides, but we want to do that with doing something along with that, like the Schroth Method or the C's approach, so that we're training the muscles in the body how to get in a better alignment and better symmetry, so then we can strengthen the muscles in that better alignment or that better symmetry. So hopefully that makes sense. The strengthening also, if we think about, this is one curve. The majority of my scoliosis patients have two curves, so they have an S curve or a backwards S curve. And which side do you strengthen in that scenario? Do we strengthen the core just down here and just up here? It's very hard to do. It's very hard to just strengthen the lower core on the right and the upper core on the left. I guess it could be done, but it would be very complex, and I don't think it would be very effective. So most people have two curves. We don't want to selectively strengthen one side and not the other. So if you're doing Schroth exercises, or you know someone that is, or you're a physical therapist or someone guiding someone in strengthening with scoliosis, the best thing you can do is strengthen both sides, strengthen them symmetrically, and make sure that they have good form and that they're not collapsing into their concavities. So we'll do another video on collapsing into the concavities, because that's something that we should probably spend a little more time on. But that's basically where they lose this concave side and they start to collapse into it. We definitely don't want that happening when we strengthen, and there are ways to address that. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and keep working on your scoliosis and strengthen symmetrically. Thanks for watching.